I understand this is a consign. This is a slowly changing dimension. SCD, slowly changing dimension. And in the manual, which some of you have seen and have requested, I give a detailed explanation on how this could be managed. So for some that might don't understand what we're talking about, what we are saying here is how we move our data from whatever source to our database. Of course, my main domain is in the aspect of machine learning. But of course, anybody that is working with data needs to have a general idea on how data is moved, especially for people who are ETL developers and data engineers. So I will just give a quick idea on how I have captured for managing slowly changing dimensions. So a quick example, if this is my database, right? And then this is your computer, where you are getting this data. This your computer serves as your source. The source where you are generating the data, and the database serves as the destination. The idea is, as you are generating your data in your computer, maybe your Excel sheet, you want to be moving the data to your database. I will give an example. If I have two columns, this one is number and this one is name, right? So any day you are interfering with your customers, they come in and they put in their information. You have 1, 2, 3. And then on the name, you could have A, B, C. This is your database. In this your database, you have a table. You have a table that has something. This is number and this is name, right? This is a table. This is a table in your database. The idea is you want to be moving all your data from your computer, which is your source, to your database inside this table. Mind you, what I want to demonstrate is to capture slowly changing dimension. So what is slowly changing dimension? You're going to find out that your idea is at the end of your business transaction, you want to move this information that is in your computer to your database. At the initial stage, when you don't have any information in your database, you want to move this data from your computer to your database. That is what we call initial dumping. This is what we call initial dumping. At the first stage, when you move this data from here to here. So once I do this, once I move this data from here to here, I will have 1, 2, 3. I will have A, B, and C. For you to move this data, there are so many packages or software you can use to do this. But in this discussion, I am capturing what we call SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services. This is a package we are going to be using to move this data from whatever source to this. So by the time you have done this first stage, it is called your initial dumping. Now what happens is, you're going to find out that your computer which you are using, you are getting information every day by day, and this information you are getting here, you also want this information to reflect in the table in your database. So whatever you do after you have done your initial dumping is under what we call incremental changes. And these incremental changes is what we're going to use to capture slowly changing dimension, because this dimension is not going to be fixed. It's going to be changing, right? So we need to capture this slowly changing dimension. So whatever you're going to be doing in moving data from this computer here, I'm going to capture them under your incremental changes. So your incremental changes, I have been able to break it down into 3. So if you can be able to capture these 3 aspects of it, you have done a perfect job. Which one is the first one? You're going to find that on the next day, you have other customers that comes into your shop and you get their information, maybe 4, 5, which is F and Z. This information you have captured on your computer, but this information is not in the table in your database. And what you want to do, you don't want to move every information in your computer to here. You want to move just the fresh record. This is just what you want to put inside your database, the fresh record. When you are moving just the fresh record inside here, we use the term we call insert. So insert is a slowly changing dimension word we use when we are more concerned about to capture the new record that is here, which is not existing in our database. So I can use my SSIS package to move this, just this number 4 and 5. So I'm gonna have my FZ. Now that I have gotten this information, what I have in my database is the same thing in what I have in my computer that serves as my source. Then after a few days, this customer with this number comes in and confirms, oh, I have changed my name. My name is no more B, but my name is now K. So you find out that this customer has modified his information. This information in my database, what I still have is B. So when I want to capture this change that has undergone in my source, that change, which is the modified change, what we do that is called update. So update is a management word we use to capture slowly changing dimension when the number or the record has been modified. Then another scenario that comes in, which is the third one I call delete. In this case, you find out that maybe one of the customers that is subscribing with my whatever I have comes in and say, hey, I want to cancel my subscription. I'm no more interested in this package. And this guy cancels off his record, right? So you find that in the source, that record doesn't exist anymore. But in your database, you have this information still existing in your database. Now the question is, how do I update my database to reflect that someone has deleted? That is what we call the delete management of slowly changing dimension. So you find out that these are the key important 3 things we do. And conventionally in our SSIS package, you can achieve this using what we call the lookup package of SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services Lookup. You can use this to capture this incremental aspect of data management. But in the manual, I have done a detailed approach on how you can use what I call the CDC, Change Data Capture. This makes your life very easy. So as you guys have requested, I do this small video to give more insight so that when you are doing this technical aspect of executing your packages in your SQL Server management, you should be able to do a package that can be able to capture this, because this is the key most important thing when you have your SQL Server Management Studio working automatically, because you want everything to be updating. So I have done a detailed video on, I have done a detailed job in the manual. So in the manual, I have discussed how you can execute this 3 package efficiently, and I've also given you an idea how you can enable CDC for the database, and also for the table. Because this is the CDC we are going to be using to do this. We are not going to be using this approach because this approach is more technical and you might encounter some errors. So in the manual, if you take the step-by-step approach, which I have outlined, you will not have any issue managing slowly changing dimension. Remember, there are 3 key major ways of handling slowly changing dimension, but this is my preferred approach, using CDC, because it accounts for what was in the table before and what you have now. So you can always come back and see what was in the database before and what the database has now. So if you take the manual, the approaches, you will see the code I have written on how to activate this for database and for table. All you need to do is just to copy the code, follow the instruction of the manual, and you can be able to do this. Then I have also shown you how you can also activate your SQL server agent. So this is just what I want to discuss, because people who asked me to do this video are more concerned with how to manage slowly changing dimension in their SQL Server Management Studio, as it is an essential feature for you to do your SSIS project. So take these approaches. If you have any issues, my email is on the book. Write me on watchkuhenry112@yahoo.com. Give me an idea of what concern you are having, and we can achieve this together. On this note, I'm going to be ending this short video. Thank you so much.